Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Launch Strategies for Leaders, the show where I come to you each week and share valuable tips on how to launch a significant venture, one that will lay a foundation for long-term success and in the process increase your chances of securing funding. So thank you for those of you who are joining me live or will be catching the replay. Do let me know if you're here, drop your name in the comments. Where are you joining from? Is this your first time tuning in to this live? For those of you who don't already know me, my name is Katrina Douglas. I am the Launch Strategist and founder of the Launch Strategist. And I'm actually going to start telling you that I'm an author. I also published a book in 2017 called Momentum, 90 Days of Marketing Tips and Motivation to Kickstart Your Business. For those of you who are just starting your business, you can go ahead and grab that on Amazon. Well, that's enough about me. So this is show 1 of 2. So each week I come to you at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday and 1 p.m. on a Thursday for Launch Strategies for Leaders. And we have one theme across those 2 days. Now, this week's theme is one I'm quite excited about. So it's lessons from Virgin Galactic's launch of Unity 22 this week. Now, you may have been preoccupied with the football. Now, we all absolutely were. But on Sunday, earlier on in the day, Virgin launched what is quite a landmark and significant foray into space tourism. So Richard Branson and 4 others flew to the edge of space on a test flight and came back. And I wanted to watch it live, but the time changed, so I couldn't. So today I watched it, and my goodness, it's mind-blowing. I've had an awareness of this project for many years. It's been going for 20 years, and I've been intrigued about it for a lot of years. So to see that now Branson has made this phenomenal kind of leap in terms of space tourism. He's the first to do it. Pip Jeff Bezos to the post on that. And I really wanted to talk about it because there are some really valuable launch lessons that we can learn from it. I mean, it's a phenomenal case study. I was watching it today and it's just phenomenal. And so I just wanted to share some insights with you on this and what we can learn when it comes to launching a significant venture, because actually a mission like Unity 22, it actually doesn't get any more significant than that. And so I'm going to share 5 tips with you, or 5 insights from that launch, from the Unity 22 that Virgin Galactic did on Sunday. I'm going to share 5 lessons today and 5 lessons on Thursday. So now the first one I wanted to share with you is the launch time. Now, it has taken 20 years for him to launch this mission. 20 years. And I just want you to take a minute to just put that into perspective. Imagine having a concept and it taking 20 years to even get to a test flight. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been many test flights prior to this, but this is the only one with actual passengers, and they actually did research on the flight, the first one that Richard Branson has been on, and it's actually the real experience that people are going to pay for. Now, it cost about £180,000, I believe, to take a flight. And the one I watched took about 10 minutes. Thereabout. I don't know if that's going to be the actual time, but that's kind of the experience. So it took 20 years to get to the test flight. And sometimes when we think about the time it takes to launch, when I tell people standardly, it takes at least 6 months to launch a significant venture, because I only work on legacy-driven projects that are about long-term success. So projects that are going to be around 10, 15, 20 more years from now. And when you're launching something like that, it needs at least 6 months. Now, my launch of the Launch Strategist, it took me about 2 years. And it's difficult because during your launch phase, you don't make much money. You're spending a lot of money, but you don't make much. And so it's a sacrifice because you're building and you're laying a foundation and putting out a lot, then you'll get putting out a lot more than you're getting in. And at that phase, all you have is faith. And so if I take you back to my launch process, so it took about 2 years. So the first thing I did is I hired a mentor. I built out my framework. I tested the framework. I started dripping content, but it took 2 years until I would say that actually it was at a point where I felt like I could call this thing a business. And so, the bigger the vision is the longer the launch period. And so sometimes when I tell people it's going to take 6 months, it's like that first they think, wow, that's way too long. Like a lot of times I'll speak to people and they say, oh, I want to launch next month, or I want to launch in the next 3 months. And I'm like, really, unless you've done a lot of the groundwork already, and in many cases there are significant gaps, then you're going to need a lot more time than that. At first, it sounds a lot, like a long time. But this kind of puts it into perspective. The bigger the vision, the bigger the launch time, because it took Branson 20 years to get to this point. And actually, with a lot of my clients, it ends up being 6 months, even if they think they can do it beforehand. And a lot of them, it takes even longer than that. It can take a couple of years to launch something significantly. So it took Branson 20 years. And so, if you're just launching a course, or if you're launching a book, then fine. Give yourself a 6-week launch period. Do you know what I mean? That can maybe work for you. But if you're launching something significant, something sustainable, you need to give yourself a significant time. And so that's my first tip for you. That's my first learning, the first insight for you. The bigger the vision, the longer your launch time. Branson took 20 years to get to this point. The tenacity that takes is incredible and exemplary. But we're going to see the impact of this mission and what he has done for generations to come. So significant. So the next thing I took away from it was that he has some of the most brilliant humans on the planet on his team. Some of the best minds, some of the best astronauts, on his team. And so the insight, the lesson here is, if you want to launch an A-star venture, you cannot have a B team. And that might sound harsh, but it's the truth. If you want to get out the gate, and if you want your venture to be a star, you have to have the best people on your team. And that's it. And I think when you're launching, so often people and the skill set and expertise is something that's overlooked a lot. And one of the reasons for launch failure is not having the right people on the team. Because one thing I often say is, you can have a mediocre idea, but if you have an exceptional team, you can pull it off. If you have an exceptional idea, but you have a mediocre team, chances are that exceptional idea is going to fail. So if you're launching something that is significant, if you're launching something that is about the long term, make sure that you have the best people for the job on the job, and be prepared to pay for it. We are Launch Strategists. It's all we do, because we want to be here at the Launch Strategist the best there is in the area of launching significant ventures. We're very unapologetic about that. But if you want the best team for your launch, then that's who we are. And so whatever you're doing, if it's significant, get the experts that you need, whether they be industry specialists, whether they be technical specialists, whether they be strategy specialists. Get the best people on your team for the job, and don't scrimp on that, and be realistic about what it is going to take to get those people on your team. And there are, affordable ways around it. You don't have to have full-time hires. There's freelancers, there's consultants, there's ways around it that make it more affordable, but be aware of that cost and put those costs into your launch plan. So that was really inspiring to me, watching it and actually just hearing the profiles of the astronauts that he had on that test flight, seeing the expertise that they had, the amount of hours they had flown, the times they have gone into space. It was mind-blowing. But actually, when you think of the magnitude of actually space tourism, he had to have the best. And I want to talk to you about the actual vehicle, the aircraft, and the lessons from that. But I'm going to leave that till Thursday. But phenomenal, just phenomenal. So the other thing is, number 3, Branson has been telling the story of Virgin Galactic for over 20 years. I remember first hearing about Virgin Galactic years and years ago, and the vision hasn't changed and the story hasn't changed. And he did not wait to get to this point where he had the aircraft, where he had the team, where the venture was about to take place. He's been telling us that he is going to be a pioneer of space tourism for 20 years. I just want you to think about that for a second. How many times do we say, actually, I can't speak about it yet because it's just an idea, or I can't share about it yet, or I can't launch the website yet because it's not ready yet? And actually, this man has been telling us, creating a narrative, gearing us up for this launch for 20 years. So if you have an idea and if you have a concept, don't think that you have to wait till you are ready, till the idea is ready to begin speaking about it. Start building community, start building content way before your launch. And yeah, just don't wait. Start telling the story now, because Branson has been telling this story for 20 years, and it really built anticipation, because I remember seeing this years ago, and then when it popped up, I can't remember where I saw it. I think someone on LinkedIn had liked it. There was also a post, something on the BBC about it. So when it popped up that he was doing this launch, I was like, I felt really invested, because I remember seeing it years ago and thinking, how amazing this notion of space tourism, how phenomenal is that? And because I had that recollection, when I saw the launch, it felt like I was part of it, that I was invested in this. Like, this is a meaningful moment. And that's the benefit of telling the story and feeding content and building community long before your launch. So the lesson in that is, don't wait till you're ready to start telling your story, start telling that narrative, start telling the story way before you launch. Lesson number 4. They invited us to take part. The thing about launching, what I like to call legacy, and I think this is always the difference between the way we work at the Launch Strategist and other launch frameworks, is that everything that we do is embedded in legacy. And when you're building legacy and when you're launching legacy, it's important to rally a community behind the vision, to get people excited about the vision, because actually when you're building legacy, intrinsically it stops being about you. You are intrinsically building something that transcends you. And so what that means is that you want to galvanize interest. You want to make people feel like actually what you're building, what you're launching, is not just about you, it's about them. And that's what I love about the vision and the way Branson has done this. From day one, it wasn't about one man trying to get to space. It wasn't really about him. Yes, there's personal ambition in there, but it was more than that. It was it's literally about a new frontier for humanity. And he brought us along for the journey. He made us feel like, you know what, this is not just about me. This is not just about a spacecraft. This is not just about Virgin. This is about a new frontier for humanity. And we're doing this together. And this is not just my achievement, it is our achievement. And that is so powerful. And so when you're launching something that is significant, you want to be building community. You want to be bringing community with you. You want to be building people, building the vision, and taking people with you. It's really important. So it feels like actually it's not just you, it's us. It's us. We're doing this. This is for a greater good. This is not just about me. And they did that so well. Even in the broadcast, it wasn't just about Richard Branson. His team were featured as much as him, the CEO of Virgin Galactic, probably, all these people. It was not just the Branson show. It was about the whole community of people that have been journeying with him for 20 years and reached this point. And again, it was so powerful. And again, if you're launching a significant venture, if you can just show that actually it's not just you, but I have this army of people journeying with me and you can join us too, it's very powerful. It's a very powerful way to launch. So, point number 5, which is my final point for today. He priced for sustainability, not for short-term success. Now, he didn't think about, okay, what is going to be affordable or what what is the price point that people want to pay. He thought, you know what? Well, I don't know what he thought, but I'm assuming at a price tag of £180,000, he priced based on what the experience was worth, or what the costs involved. So, you know, he priced not for short-term success. He's not trying to discount out here. He's pricing, you know, and even at that price, many of us, like a lifetime experience, even at 180K, we're like, okay, you know, where are you going to get that experience from? But so many of us are, when we price, we're thinking about, can people afford it? Is this a reasonable price? Like, who cares? Well, maybe that's a bit harsh. Not who cares, because if people don't buy your thing, you don't have a business. But it's like, this is the price. Pay it or don't. It's £180,000 a ticket. If you want to go to space, that's what you're going to have to pay. And that's kind of the approach that I really believe in for pricing things. That when you've invested your whole self, when you've poured your whole self into the creation of something, and you know it is good, you can look at this thing and you know it's good, and you can deliver transformation, and you know this thing is going to impact lives. The last thing you should be thinking about is how cheap you can make this thing. Price what your thing is worth. Price based on the transformation that you deliver, and maintain that. Price in a way that is sustainable. Richard Branson knows that he needs to price this in a way that, you know, he can afford to be doing these journeys for years, decades to come. And so he priced for sustainability. And so that's what I would say to you. Don't price for short-term success. Price for sustainability. Price to ensure that your business can be profitable long after the launch. And then prove, and it's your job to prove to people that actually what you're offering is worth the money, okay, is worth the money. And if you really believe in what you're delivering, price accordingly. So those are the 5 insights that I learned from the launch of Unity 22 this weekend, Virgin Galactic's test flight. And if you haven't watched it, I really encourage you to watch it. I think it's about 2 hours long. The actual segment with the launch is shorter. I think it starts about 40 minutes in. But if you haven't watched it, go to virgingalactic.com and watch it. It's so inspiring, especially for those of you that are thinking, can I really do this? Can I really launch this significant venture? Can I really do this thing that's been in my heart to do, that I believe in my head that I can do, but I don't have any evidence of? If someone can create a spaceship, and we're going to talk about the innovation that actually went into the aircraft on Thursday. If someone can have an idea one day that actually I want to take people into space, and 20 years later have the spaceship, the aircraft, have the team, have the expertise, have the space center, nothing is impossible for you. Nothing. And so if you only go and watch it for that reason, to inspire you to do that thing that seems impossible, go watch it. It's so inspiring. So that's it from me today. I hope you got something out of that. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments. Please even post on the video after the fact. I always come back. If you need support with your launch, if you're thinking of launching a significant venture and you're feeling like, you know what, I just need some guidance on this journey, then direct message me and we can get an exploratory call in the calendar. Yeah, the future's bright. The future's very, very bright. So yeah, that's it from me today, and I will see you on Thursday at 1 p.m. Have an amazing rest of the day. Bye-bye.